people always say, what's the worst that could happen? I always say, what's the best that could happen? I was like, what's the best that could happen? The best that could happen is this could be a lot of fun and I meet some friends and I make some money. I'm in my house, right? I'm in my living room, potentially making money is all I was thinking. Whatever. These people don't know me. It feels a little awkward at first, because it was my first time ever doing anything like that. So dove in and did it. And my first show was actually really, 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 really successful.
Welcome to Open Talk. My name is Lynn. Today I'm sitting down with Robyn Lynn, and we're going to talk about her entire journey, her history, and her live selling experience. So, Robyn Lynn, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. For those that don't know who you are, you want to start with telling them a little bit about yourself, what you sell?
Okay. A little bit. Let's see. I'm never a little bit type of person, so that's hard. I'm Robyn Lynn, 78. Birth year gives it away. So I was going to just be a buyer originally. So I didn't come up with a cool name, but I am Robyn's Nest, Robyn Lynn, 78. I started off selling a lot of clothes, which I still have a lot of inventory of clothing because that's what I started doing. But now I do a lot more purses and wallets, diner, luxury, accessories, skincare, just things that are easier for me to store for one. Also, I find I can get better profit margins and sell it quicker. Anyways, I do still have a lot of clothing. I am liquidating my clothing. Started off doing that, but then have been pivoting as I go. I forgot the question.
How did you get started into live selling, Robyn? What made you say, okay, I wake up one day and said, my gosh, I want to go live on Poshmark and just start streaming and selling?
So I never really even knew what Poshmark was. I'm not really a big social media or like online person, generally speaking, but I have it, for the reasons that everyone has it, but never really been that big into it. I actually, I was battling cancer from 2023 to 2025. So a lot changed then. Obviously, my whole trajectory, my whole world got flipped upside down and a lot of things changed. While I was going through treatments, I met several people, and some lady that I met along the way, she told me about Poshmark because she was like so fashionable, and we were giving each other compliments and stuff about our outfits. And she's like, do you go on Poshmark? And I'm like, what's that? So I never even heard of it. So she encouraged me because I was home and in bed and like not feeling well and going through treatments to just get on Poshmark, just, as a passerby, like a time passerby. So I started just buying in February of 2024. I was just like a buyer. I was just looking around and buying. And then I learned about the live selling. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I was still like not feeling good. And I was still like recovering and I went through chemo, radiation, more chemo, 2 surgeries, just like the whole 9. And the last thing I was even thinking about it was just to kill time. And because I was bored out of my mind and not a big TV person. Like anyway, so my phone was dying. Sorry. I started just as a buyer, and then I did my very first live show in August of 2024. Was that 2024? Yeah, 2024. I did my very first live show. And no, I sold my first item in August. I did my first show in November. Of 2024. I had a feeling you'd ask me, so I wrote that down because I'm not good. My first sale was August 10th, 2024. My first show was November 8th, 2024. And I will tell you what, from the time I had my first sale and the time I had my first show, I only sold 20 items from the first sale to the first show from August to November. So I was like, I have to sell. My closet's not moving. I have to do something. And I learned about live, and I was getting better. Went through my second major surgery. I was starting to want to, make a little bit of money, get back into the work field and stuff. So it was something I could do from home. And so I just started out just, selling a few things, which now we are today. So there's a lot in between that's happened since then.
Well, okay. So let's start there. So you decided to go live in the later end of 2024. Mm-hmm. Do you still remember your first show? Like how was it? Like, how did you even get people to watch you?
My first show, I was in my living room because I didn't start sourcing yet. I was just selling my own clothing, my bags, like things I already had. I also had a lot of time while I was sick to shop. So I had a lot of things I bought that I was like, why do I have all this stuff? So I had a lot of inventory just because I'm a shopper. And I was like, let me just try to sell some of this. So I set up everything in my living room. I got a little mini ring light, and I just didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, whatever. People always say, what's the worst that could happen? I always say, what's the best that could happen? I was like, what's the best that could happen? The best that could happen is this could be a lot of fun and I meet some friends and I make some money and, whatever. And I always I'm in my house, right? I'm in my living room, potentially making money is all I was thinking. Whatever. It's these people don't know me. I don't know them. Maybe, it feels a little awkward at first, because it was my first time ever doing anything like that. So I just dove in and did it. And my first show was actually really, 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 really successful. I don't remember I should have looked at the number. I sold quite a bit. And a lot of my first show shoppers are still shopping with me. So they've been with me since day one. And, I was a lot smaller and sicker. I was still in the beginning of healing. So I've grown and healed a lot since then. So in so many different ways, not just, Poshmark, but I was 113 pounds. Now I'm back up to 132. And I was I had just gotten, when I had my first show, I had just gotten it reversed, but I had a temporary ileostomy. So I had a ostomy bag. So I couldn't go to the bathroom regular for 4 months. So when I first got it reversed, when I first started having shows, I could only do shows for maybe an hour if I did, or I'd have to take a lot of breaks. I'd say, I'll be back, guys. I didn't tell them in the beginning what was going on. I was like, I'll be right back, guys. And then I had to go to the bathroom because I had to go often. Yeah. In the beginning, now I thank the Lord, I still have, days where it's not that great, but I would say it's night and day. I've healed so much that I never imagined I'd be able to even do anything remotely this way. I thought for sure I was never going to be able to work again. And thank God I can work from home because I do have some disabilities, but I can work around them with this. And if, something comes up, I'm home,
Yeah. Well, I feel like so many people that's watching this is so inspired. It's look, everyone that ever came into our community, I feel can find someone in our community that is super relatable to their situation. So those that going through a health crisis or something will say, look at you and say, wow, the ability for you to go through that and then grow something out of your own home in life selling and start your own business and making money, I think it's pretty remarkable. How many people came to your first show?
I should have looked at that. It was good. I had a very good show. I would say that my numbers were in the 30s and 40s, which is good for a first show. And everybody was buying. I was selling everything. If I showed it, I sold it. Everybody they loved all my stuff because I have good stuff, Mm-hmm. It was all my stuff. So it wasn't even stuff that, even when I source, I like to get stuff I like because it's hard for me to be enthusiastic about it if I don't like it. Yeah. I'm not going to sell it because I'm so honest. I would probably be like, do you really want this? I'm going to say I don't like it. Do you want it? You can have it. If I don't love it, I can't sell it. So when I do source, I do I have to at least like it. Even if it's not something I would wear, I have to like it. But it was easy to sell my own stuff because I was like, this is wonderful. And I meant it because I loved it.
Yeah.
I bought it for me. So I did get a lot of people that obviously were my size in the beginning because it was my stuff. So I ended up sourcing from extra small all the way up to 4X so that I could have a bigger audience and I could be more size inclusive.
So it was all clothes at the beginning?
At the beginning, it was just clothes, maybe a couple accessories. I had some fun little things I had gotten along the way, but I'd say 90% was clothing in the beginning because it was just my stuff.
Random question. People that want to sell clothing, right, in a live show, what would you tell them? What would be a piece of advice? How did you know how to do the right clothing and sell it on live?
Well, I watched lives. I watched to see what they were doing. I learned about pit to pit. I learned about the acronyms for different things. I learned what inseam and rise and pit to pit, all the things and what people were going to ask. So I knew I had my tape measure. I just watched a few just to get some pointers. That's the best way to do it is to watch someone else doing it. And then I kind of made it my own. But I actually love selling clothing because I love clothing. So I love fashion. It's not that I'm going to ever stop selling clothing altogether. I just feel like it's not going to be my main bread and butter because it's so specific. So, and trends change so often. And you also I like barrel jeans right now. I used to love skinny jeans. Now I sold all my skinny jeans because I don't wear them anymore. Maybe here and there with a pair of boots, but the trends change so often and not you have to have someone who wants that exact size, that exact style, that exact price point, so a lot of things have to align for that one purchase. So I would say source low. Do your best at sourcing low because I would say $10 for a pair of, Joe's jeans or whatever. Great. Not really, because you're going to hold on to them. That is a great sale if you want them for yourself, but to resell, you need to get $2, $3, $4, $5 stuff. And that's just maybe not every time, because sometimes there are those items that you can put in your closet. But when you're live selling, trying to move things quickly, I'd say source as smart as you can.
Yeah.
And
Do you,
then be,
do you remember? Do you remember the brands that you were selling at the beginning?
oh my goodness. I sold a lot of everything, a lot of anthropology, people love bird's nest, like the boho style stuff. I was selling a lot of, I'm trying to think of the jeans, cause like, I know I love them. And just like, when you put me on the spot, I'm trying to think, I'm trying to think of the names of them,
Yeah,
but
no.
like a lot of denims that are really, really, so I live in California, you live in California, but I have amazing thrifting here. Like that is one good thing I have is I can go in 5 minutes in any direction and I can be at an amazing thrift store, and I'm a very good thrifter. I can go through that whole store and I will leave. And I often joke when I leave, I say, I got everything good. Don't even bother. Like, don't even go in here, honey. I looked at the whole store. I got all the good stuff. Come back tomorrow. Like,
Wow.
I will go through and I can do it, and I have an eye for it. And my husband, he goes with me sometimes. So we were thrifting the other day, and, for the whole weekend we were sourcing, and he's like, don't even bother. There's just junk over there. I found a vintage Celine for $3 that I put in the closet for over 100. I found a couple little like things he wouldn't know, like brands like Oscar de la Renta and Lay Sport and things. I got like $600 retails worth of stuff for $6. And he was like, that's just junk over here. Don't even, so you have to know what I'm getting. My husband is very good at fixing things and mechanical things, but with sourcing, it's hilarious. He'll say, oh, look at this. This is, it's cute because he tries but he just doesn't, that's not his area of expertise. So, and sometimes we have to remember that we think, not everybody can do it. Not everybody wants to do it. Not everybody wants to spend hours. I enjoy it. I enjoy thrifting. To me, it's therapeutic. It's exhilarating when I get the steals. I'm like, whoo, like, I love it. It's like the perfect job for me.
I feel like it's like that storage war rush where you can find gold.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's like you're sitting there, like sometimes like on Marketplace, I think, oh my God, please, I hope do they even know what they have? When they're offering it so low, I'm like, they don't even know what they have and they're offering it. I'm like, please be available. Like it's exciting because I've gotten so many things for $5 and $6 and sell them for $100. This is nothing. This is nothing. I just sold a dress for 20. I got it for $212. This was my most recent sale. I like to spend $2 on things, but.
Well, that's why I always say Robyn Lynn for the win.
Yes.
Before you met us and you joined the Rate Train, how frequent was your live shows?
Well, I was going often. I was at least going weekly for a while there. I actually, I looked because I wasn't sure. I had a feeling you'd ask me these questions. So I was averaging, I had one show where it was negative the giveaway. I was on for a couple hours and I made negative the giveaway. Like but here's the thing. I never look at those as a loss. When I have a show where people are sometimes they're not, it's practice. If you're not selling, you're practicing, right?
Yeah.
And if you aren't selling, but and they're engaging, it's not always about the sale for me either. Cause I get a lot more out of Poshmark than just making money. Cause there's so much more to it. It's the social, aspect of it. And I've always been a giver. So when I'm like packing things, I feel like I'm sending out little gifts all the time. I can't wait for them to get it. Like Christmas, like, oh, they're going to open it and they're going to love it. And they're going to say thank you. And it's like every day is Christmas when I'm getting packages and when I'm sending them. It's like Poshmark is like Christmas every day for everyone. I love it, so I'm like, I love it. But I forgot what was the original question.
How often were you?
How often was I going? So I was going all the time, but I wasn't always successful. But I looked and I said, eyeballing it, I was averaging about $300 per show. Sometimes I'd make 4, 5, 6. Sometimes I'd make 200. Sometimes I'd make, the one was negative. I think I only had one negative show that I look back at because how we screenshot it and I went back. So I can actually see, wow, the best show that I had with you guys, I took home $2,495 in one show. I was the caboose and I was on for like 4 hours. Wow. $2,495 take home. The sales were over 3,000, 3,500 or something. Cause I gave away a lot of giveaways. But, my first show with you guys was July 10th, 2025. So I had only been going live since November of 2024. And I took home $250 that first show. That was it. And I was so stressed out preparing. From everything I learned, I think we all learned a lot from when we started the raids. When we first started, I was like, bundle, 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 and I mean, I didn't know how to present it quickly and it all happened so fast. And I was like, but I still have my regular shoppers from that show too. Like a lot of the regulars that I met, my regulars, I call them my regulars. That probably sounds not as heartfelt as I mean, my regulars.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love everyone. Like I mean, we use the word love loosely, but I do feel a lot of love for this community because you really get to feel like you know everyone more than just, we support each other. We buy
Correct.
from each other and we like to joke that we rob from each other sometimes because, I'm like, I'd rather you get a good deal than, and we'll see it again. You'll see that item again in the
Yep.
community. It'll be
Yep.
back.
I feel like the ability for you to stream at your own home and to stop building a fan following, right? And a community around you and to stop making that type of money, I think it's an incredible opportunity. It's what since the first raid train, like tell me things that you learned, things that you've seen, things that have impacted your business in a way that if you weren't on the train, what that would look like.
So I think the biggest thing I learned is, I stay prepared now because now that I know that I'm going to be on the train every week, I used to kind of look at it like, when I had all the time in the world, I didn't use it as wisely. But now that I have a system that I know I'm going to be on the train and I have to be prepared, I use my time and I treat it more like an actual business. And I say, I write my own paycheck every single week. Every week I write my own paycheck. If I need or want, I mean, I'm blessed and I'm okay. But who doesn't like extra money, even if it's extra? It's not extra, but who doesn't want it, even if you're not, everyone can use the money, period. Like there's no one that says that I don't need any extra. Yeah, we all would like some extra money, but I write my own paycheck. If I need more or want more, if I want to go on a vacation, or if I have something I want to indulge myself in, or maybe I overspent, cause I like to shop. If I go on 1 to 3 times, I know what I'm going to make. So when I worked in retail. I worked in Walgreens for 6 years. I was a assistant store manager and a pharmacy technician for 6 years, and I could work overtime. And then they take a crap load of taxes, and I got a bonus, and that was taxed at 50% or 60% or something crazy.
Yeah.
I knew what I was going to make. It wasn't very motivating. I knew when I went to work, no matter how hard I worked, no matter how good I was, no matter how great I treated the customers, no matter what I did, I was going to make my salary, maybe a little bonus, which, that was at their mercy too. And then if I worked overtime. So that was it. And I worked 60 hours a week all the time when I was working there. So I knew what I was going to make. That's not very motivating. And that's a good way to burn yourself out, knowing, wow, I'm going to go to work every single day. I got to get here at 6 a.m. and open the store, and I'm going to make what I'm going to make. And you have to find ways to stay motivated. But with this, I'm passionate. My head's always spinning like, what can I do? How can I source better? What's my next thing? What game can I make? How can I make this even better? How can I make myself unique? I'm doing it for me, and I'm working hard for me, and the results are going to be bigger paychecks.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if I killed myself at Walgreens, my paycheck was going to be what it was going to be,
Do you have, that's very inspiring to me because now you're talking my language. Do you have an exact system? Oh, go ahead.
Petey would like to say thank you for me being home too, because he doesn't like mommy to work outside the house. So ever since I'm home with him, and he's almost 11, so, I always say one more day. I always say every day is one less day. We have to remember that. So one less day with my doggy. This is one more day I get to spend with him because he's,
How old is he?
He'll be 11. He's almost 11. And historically, dogs don't live as long as people. Now, so I wish he lived forever, but I want to be with him every day of his life.
I love it. Do you have a schedule every week? Like what you do, like how much time you spend for sourcing, how much time you spend for listing? Obviously you're on the train. Like, do you have that broken down yet, or do you just kind of wing it?
I wouldn't say I necessarily wing it, but every day I make it work with my current week. Like if I have appointments or things else going on in life, or, if something comes up, but I'm an organized mess. No one can understand my handwriting but myself. So no one needs to read my diary, right? But I write down everything, what I'm going to do. I'll think like, okay, you need I don't know. Right now I have plenty of inventory. I don't need to source. That's the last thing I need to do. I've been sourcing. I'm good on that. So there's highs and lows of that. Like I am good on inventory now. A couple weeks ago, I wasn't. So I needed to do that. That was my priority. But now I had to organize it and get it straight and price it and list it. And So there's a little bit of, it's never the same. Every week's going to look different because it depends on, how much I've sold and if I need stuff, or if I find a really good deal, I don't turn it down. I can't turn down a good source price. Every day, I do Poshmark every day. So I'm always taking pictures so that I can always list anywhere I am. I always have at least 30, 40 new pictures in my phone. So no matter where I am, I can tweak and work on my listings now. Like I said, that first show I sold from August to November, I sold 20 items. I've sold over 2,000 items now. And the last 29 days, I sent out 135 packages.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I am a one-man operation. And another thing, I know this isn't the question you asked, but I am looking to interview some like high school girls, preferably, or, that's probably what I'm going to hire, a young girl to help me, because they could probably teach me a thing or two about the, technology. I couldn't think of the word. I don't even know the word technology. They could probably teach me a little bit about technology, and like, they might be like, girl, why are you doing it this way? Like, this is so much faster. So, but like, that way 2 or 3 hours a week, maybe 5 days a week. We'll see, like whatever works out. I'll interview a few and see if it works out. They can help me take pictures. It's not rocket science, but some of it I prefer to not delegate out, but the things I can delegate out, I feel like you have to spend money to make money. And I've gotten to a point where I have outgrown my ability to grow more unless I get help, because I have so much. I have such a big following. I have such a big demand, and I have the way that I want to maintain my level of customer satisfaction and the way that I do things. I want to be able to keep doing that. I don't want that to compromise that. So even if they can pre-write my thank you notes or pre-do my little things, or, whatever it is I can have them do, it'll take a lot off of me. They could take pictures. They can probably list faster than me, whatever they're good at, we'll find out, so, but they'll be able to take 2-3 hours a day off of my load and then come and help me on the weekends pack.
So I have 2 questions. Every time he says something, I have more questions.
It's so
exciting.
So much. I know, it's exciting,
isn't
it?
Yeah. So how much do you think of that growth, or those sales that you just mentioned, over the 100 packages, is from the rate train? Like, what percentage do you think?
I have only done the rate train since I came back. I came back to work the middle of January. I only worked 2 weeks in January. And I've sold, I think, 9,000 so far. 9,000.
That's all from the rate train.
All rate train, except for a couple little sales here and there. I get them. I still get little closet sales. So I'd say at least 8,000 or more is from the rate trains.
Wow.
Because I get like here and there little sales. Yeah. But for the most part, people shop your shows. They know they're going to get the best deals then. But it's all rate. And I skipped. Okay, now because I got to catch up. I didn't go on the rate train at all last week. I didn't go the first 2 weeks of January at all. Mm-hmm. And I skipped another week somewhere in there. And I only did 2 weeks where I did 2 days. This is one time a week, skipping 2 weeks, skipping 2 weeks and 2. So that's I can, yes, that's what I'm saying. If I can do 1 to 3 times, preferably 2, average 2 times a week on the rate train, I know I can make at least 3,000, probably more. I'm going to lowball it because I like an achievable goal that doesn't overwhelm me. But once I achieve that and I know that I'm there, I'll but 3,000 easy target per week, going twice a week. And then I can times that by, and then there's where I'm going to, now if I can hire someone to help me a few hours a day and I go 3 times a week, 4,000 or 5,000 a week, that's, big difference. And what am I paying them? $20 an hour. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a no brainer to get the help to be able to grow. You just have to trust the process. And that's where I'm at. I've outgrown it. I can stay at the level I'm at, but I'm not a stay at the level I'm at type of person. I want greatness. And I know that we can, and it's not even all about the money. The money is a big part of it, but I just feel like then I'm going to be employing someone, one at first, but I'll probably employ more later. I'm going to be creating little jobs and, making a difference in more people's lives. And I love shopping. So any reason to keep me shopping and actually making money from it, it'll keep me and my husband both happy. Because he knows, ask him, I love shopping a little bit. We don't have a huge house here in California, so we don't get that much bang for our buck in our house. So we're busting at the seams with it's hilarious. You should see how much stuff I have, but I'm organized.
So this is like one of those tale of 2 paths, right? I mean, so many people, I believe, will start live selling this year. I mean, it's a natural way for resellers to go. And, the ability to sell out of your home is crazy. And some people just want to do it on a small scale. They just want to make a little bit of a living, or extra spending money, or extra to help them because, they have families, they have careers, and then other people just want to do it full time. They say, "Oh my gosh, this is such an amazing opportunity! Like, there has to, like, I want to get a warehouse. I want to hire more streamers. I want to do like, you know, it's a full stack in terms of how they want to grow it. Where do you think out of those two spectrums you would want to go?
Well, I don't know that so here's the thing. My trajectory, a lot of things changed for my priorities when I like to say, well, I don't know how to put it nicely, not looking down the barrel of a gun, but I faced death. Like I was knocking on death's door and it felt real to me when I was facing cancer. And I said, like, if I can get through this, then I'm going to live differently. And then we're human and sometimes we fall back into our own things. And I often I have to remind myself, you want to live your life. So I'm trying to find that balance where I'm not like working myself crazy, where if it stops being fun, then that's why I'm hiring someone. It stopped being fun when it's so much work, So
Yeah.
now I'm going to hire and delegate out. And even if it makes me a little less at first, whatever, I want balance and I want to be happy because that's what we're working for. We're working to find that. So I'm somewhere in the middle. Like maybe if I was in my 20s or 30s, I would have absolutely said, I'm going to have a warehouse. I'm going to be the biggest seller on Poshmark. And I'm like, everybody better watch out. You guys are lucky that I'm pushing 50 and 50's pushing back because I'm a grandma and a mother and a wife. And there's a lot of things I'd like to do. And all my family's on the East Coast and I travel a lot. Lily likes to think I travel for vacations a lot, but I do travel because I don't have any family here. I wish it was in Hawaii every time, but it's not. But I want to travel a lot and I like the flexibility. So I know the way that I would run a business, I would need to be hands-on. And that's just not where I'm at in my life anymore. That could change. But as of right now, I just want to earn a good living. I'd like to make 10,000 a week. 10,000 a month from home. Listen, I said a week. Maybe that was a Freudian slip. Maybe it was an omen. Maybe I'm going to make 10,000 a week. But I'd be happy. I would be happy with 10,000 a month.
Well, I mean, big is not always better, right?
No,
no. Yeah.
More money, more problems.
Yes,
they say, right?
yes. But I was also looking at the other side. I don't know if you saw that Netflix documentary with Eric Dane. Did you see that? And he recently passed, and he made this memoir for his daughters, and he was. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
And
I did.
And it's crazy.
Am I the same person I'm thinking of? Is he 47 years old?
Yes.
And you know what he had? He had colon cancer, and that's what see, I'm not a big TV watcher. Or is that someone else?
No, he did I forgot what is it ALDS or let me see what disease.
Maybe he had ALDS.
Yeah, ALDS, yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking of someone else. There was recently, and he was my age and gosh, I'm so bad at names. I've always been like, I could see an actor and I would be like, I know him, but it could be like someone so prevalent and I can't think. It could be, I'm not good at it. But anyways, he was 47 and
I think he's in Grey Anatomy. He died at age 53.
Okay, so this is a whole nother one. But yeah, so
after 10-month battle with ALS, he filmed a memoir to his daughter and he said, live today, right? Because he had such an amazing career and boom, 10 months later he's dead.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's kind of extreme in this situation.
Yeah.
But it's
but you do.
But I feel like you went through something like that. Almost,
yeah. You know
right?
what we're about to go through? 1% on my phone. What should we do?
No, just plug in the microphone. Yeah. And
it's going to be, you're going to be able to make it. Okay, let's do this. Am I going to be so?
There we go.
Okay, hold on. Now, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Am I so close that it's uncomfortably close?
No, that's perfect.
Okay. Let me turn you up. Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah. No, I'm.
It's going to be an extreme close-up.
No, it's awesome. No, you went something similar, right? You went through a traumatic health experience, so that's why it made me think like that. It's not,
and that was someone else. It was someone else because I didn't see that one. But it's funny because it was so similar. I wish I could think of his name. I wouldn't even know it because I don't retain that kind of thing. But he was my age. I'm 47. Well, he was 48 or 47, and he just passed away from colon cancer. And I had colon cancer, so I had stage 2A colon cancer, and I was diagnosed at 44. And you don't really ever expect that diagnosis. And there are a lot of younger people and much older, but 44 is young to be afraid to die. It put a whole different perspective on life. And I went through hell and back. Like people wouldn't realize it because like, my husband knows because he lived it with me, but most people, they would have no idea because I'm back. Here I am. Like they're like, oh, she's so fun and friendly and bubbly and nice and
Yeah.
sweet and kind. And I don't like to sit and dwell on saying to people like, oh, I've been through this. Like, it's not even about that. I'm just so grateful to be here. And I look at things differently because I just can't believe I'm here. After what I went through, I can't even believe. It's like it happened to someone else. It's like I'm looking back and going, that happened to me? That was me. That was my life for a couple years.
Hmm.
Right now I still have my port. I have my port, so I get my port flushed every 12 weeks. I get CAT scans every 6 months. I get it's called Signatera. They test for circulating DNA from the tumor in my body every 3 months, and I've had 8 negatives since May 2024 through this February 2026. I just had another negative. So that means that there's no sign of residual cancer from the original tumor in my body anywhere.
Wow.
So every time I get that, I literally like before I open it, I'm like, oh, and I get like the world comes off my shoulders because
Yep.
the further you get away from not having a reoccurrence, the greater your odds that you won't. So the greater your odds are that you won't have a reoccurrence. So April will mark 2 years of no evidence of disease for me. So I'll
What
get
does that
CAT
mean?
scans. That means so like a lot of people say, are you cancer free? Are you in remission? Are you cured? They don't use those words until 5 years. So right now I can say I have NED, which is no evidence of disease. I can't say I'm in remission. I can't say I'm cured. I can't say I'm cancer free. I mean, I can say that if I want, but that's not the medical technical term. There's no evidence. They can't find any evidence that it's returned. You are in surveillance for 5 years. So I'm almost made it to 2 years.
Oh my
They
gosh.
won't say they don't say remission or cancer free until 5 years. So I'm April will be 2 years, and then that's the mark they want me to get at to remove the port because they like to make sure that you're not going to need it. Yeah. So I still get it flushed, then I go to the cancer center, and it's an emotional roller coaster because the smells and the scene and the memories, and you go in and you have to relive that every 12 weeks, and you see other people. You go to the same infusion place that you got your chemo. I go sit in the same chairs that I got chemo to get my port flushed, and everyone in there is getting either immunotherapy or chemotherapy, and I was there, and it just a lot of emotions that day when I go because not everyone's there in and out just getting a port flush. They're there for hours. I got chemo every 2 weeks, and I took a pump home for 72 hours. It gave me chemo for 72 straight hours. And then I had to go get it removed. And then I got a shot that helped me with my blood counts because I was really sick. And that made me sick again. It was a lot. Like, I know that no one like really like pictures that, but I was sick. I was a critical care patient. A couple of days before my last chemo infusion, it was touch and go. Like, they were really worried that I might not make it in the ER. It was not good. So, like I said, and then I got chemo 3 days later. They still wanted you to get chemo. I was like, so do I get a break? They're like, no. I'm like, how can you give me chemo? But yeah, they know what you need, and they don't want you to take a break from it. And they always insist that, I was 44, 45, 46, I'm 47 now. That I was young. They always insist that you're young. Your body can do it. You're young. Because a lot of people going through cancer, are much older. A lot of people are much younger too. But in the terms of going through cancer treatments, these as young, they feel like you can recover from the damage that it does. And I will tell you, hallelujah, somehow. I mean, yes, I have some residual things, and we won't even get into that. There's a lot of other factors. But overall, I didn't lose my hair. I got neuropathy, and I still have it a little bit, but nothing like it was debilitating to the point where I couldn't open buttons or do anything. I can do, every now and then. I mean, I'm not getting any younger, so that happens anyways, but I do have osteoporosis from all the treatments. I have, it's called lower anterior resection syndrome because they took out my entire sigmoid colon and the majority of my rectum. So I don't have all my parts. So when I have to go to the bathroom, I have to go to the bathroom now. There's nowhere for it to there's no reservoir. So if I'm like, I got to go. Now, you've seen me. I've done lives for 8-9 hours, and I'll go to the bathroom once. Maybe not even for that reason, just to pee. So that's how far I've come, where I was sent home from the hospital in a diaper. And I had a stock load of diapers. Lynn, I had so many diapers that the VA gave me to have because I was going to need them. I took my diaper off when I got home and I never put one on again because I didn't want to wear diapers. So I had my little automatic bed and I would get up, and if I had to go, I didn't always make it, but I was determined that I was not going to wear a diaper in my 40s. So I just told myself, you're not wearing a diaper. It's not happening. You're not
Yeah.
wearing a diaper. You know what I mean? Like I was
Yeah.
like, I mean, hey, if it came to it that I had to, but I was determined to do my best to get past and get and overcome it. And I knew, listen, I joined the Army when I was 17. I was in the Army almost 8 years. I became a mom at 22. My first duty station was Korea. I was 17 when I joined the Army. I turned 18 in basic training. My first duty station, back then you didn't have cell phones, computers, emails. I didn't have an email. I literally was 18 years old and I called the little number to see my first duty station. They, in the recording, said Republic of South Korea. I had never even flown in a plane. I was like, I'm going to Korea? What is happening? I was so scared. But I will tell you, at 18 years old, I flew to Korea. You know, I did all the things by myself. And the best thing I could have ever done is throw myself into the world. I learned so much about other countries and other people and other cultures and how grateful and thankful I am for all the things I have. I'm happy to have a hot shower and a warm home. Like the simplest things I am so grateful for, because at an early age, I saw other experiences. And because I was so vulnerable, I was like, literally, I was in Japan in the airport. I had never even flown. And now I'm in the international, I'm the foreigner, you know, and I'm like, I don't know. And I don't understand what's going on around me. There's no cell phone. I can't call my mommy. You know,
Yeah.
there's no internet. It is me at 18 years old standing in here having to figure out, what are they saying? There's no translators that we get, you know, I didn't have translators. There was no phones, not much less a smartphone. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have anything, just me. And I had to find my way from Japan to Korea. And then when I got to Korea, I had to figure out how to get to where I was going on a train station where everyone's speaking Korean. I don't know how I did it.
Your story is so awesome, Robyn
Here's
Lynn.
my point. But my point is, I did it. And that's how I know I can do anything.
Yeah.
I can do anything. And being that I had to do things like that so early, it built so much confidence in myself. And I knew that I was capable of more than you could ever think you're capable of at a very young age, because I overcame all the physical stuff in the Army. I was no athlete. I had never done a organized sport a day in my life. And I joined the Army. Like, what am I doing? I didn't know how hard it was going to be,
Yeah.
but I did it, and I got in shape, and you know what I mean? Like, I just did all the things, and that like pretty much paved the way for my life to trust in myself, that I knew that I could do anything. I mean, within reason, but I'm not overly like where I'm cocky, but I'm just saying I know that I can do it. We can do a lot more than we're capable of, a lot more than we realize. The human body, the human mind, all of it's so powerful.
It's very powerful. And everything you just told me, I mean, one, your story is insane. I had no idea half these things. And this is but second, it's like, I mean, look at us. We're having a normal conversation. And this is why I just think lifestyling just works. Because, I mean, it's the raw human aspect, your story, everything you've gone through. There's millions of people that can relate to some aspect of that, whether it's your military, it's to your health, or through any of those points of your life. It's coming out and you're on camera, live, natural. And then obviously you're selling, but more so people are not buying from just a regular person. Obviously, you are more than just a regular person. This is not scripted, anything like that. I believe that, you know, where you just found lifestyle in 2024, so many people is about to find it now. And they'll start exactly how you started in your own home.
I can't believe how far I've came from day one till now. The growth and I was asking, you know, I didn't know how to start. I didn't know. I was like, what is it going to look like when I turn it on? And what is it going to, you know, you have to remember. I always try to remember, like, pretend the person doesn't know what is that old thing of how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Pretend they don't even know what peanut butter is. Like, you have to tell them from I didn't know what they were saying. Like, oh, when you do this, I was like, what does it mean to mod? Like, I didn't know any of the terms or what, you know, so I learned and the questions I was asking that seem so elementary now, I remember that. So I try to tell people, because you got to assume they don't know how to bid. They don't know it's their first time coming on. They don't know what we're talking about. Like when we're like, bid, they're like, what is this? Like, if
Yep.
you come into a show, you're like, it's all, new to you. So I just like, I feel like I could teach people how to do it now, where I was like calling and people that I knew that did lives, and they were so helpful. And I do the same thing for others. But because when they're afraid to go live, they're asking questions that you and I know, like, okay, you're going to be okay. We all have the same questions and the same fears. And every time I go live, I get that little like, but performers always say that, like, that little jitter. I've done public speaking. I've done, you name it, I've done it. And I get a little nervous every time. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I think that's the part of the excitement, your body. I think it's because we're human, obviously, but I think it's good that we have it. It helps us perform. And it's because we care. If we didn't care, we wouldn't feel anything. We actually care how people receive us, and if they're going to, enjoy the show, and if they're going to find what they want and how it's going to go,
Yep.
and then as soon as you start it, you just get into the groove and you start seeing the feedback, and you see familiar faces. In the beginning, nobody was familiar. I was like, hi, Lynn, I'm Robyn. Nice to meet you. Like, it was so awkward. I was like, okay. And like Big Sis, she's been with me since day one. I was like, Big Sis. And I didn't connect it to being a real person. I just saw a name. But now I'm like, hey, Big Sis. Like, and then your energy's there because you know them and you've known them for a couple years now. And so in the beginning, it's a little awkward, but we get through it, and everyone's been there. It's like
Yep.
we've all been there. So
Yeah,
there's no,
everyone has to start somewhere. Yeah.
we have to start somewhere. Yeah. So
We got a few minutes left. If there's one or two pieces of advice for new sellers that's just starting out, and it just maybe just saw you just now. Our community is growing really fast. Maybe just seen you. They just heard about live selling 2 weeks ago, a week ago, or maybe even today. What would you tell them?
oh my goodness, now you're putting me on the spot. And then you're like, there's no time. Hurry up and get it right. What would I tell them? Well, first of all, start where you are and don't compare yourself to other people. Because I will tell you, there's been times when I've sold $200 where I had made more profit than on days I've sold 1,000. So I have some times when, don't say like, oh my God, they sold 3,000. Did they make 3,000? Did they make 1,500? Don't look at that. If you sell 100% of stuff you already own, you already did better than someone who sourced it and lost. So don't ever compare yourself thinking, you already own it. It's straight profit. If you bought it for $5 and you sold it for 30, that's great. But what if you sold it for 30 and you bought it for 35 and you're just taking a loss? You don't know what the people, so
Yep.
never compare. Comparing will steal your joy every time, and you don't know. And we've all started somewhere. So I'm always like, oh, I like their setup or their background or their house. Well, I live in California. I have a 1,200 square foot house. I don't have a garage. I mean, I have a garage. I've taken over the garage. I don't have a basement. I don't have a big, I want one. I want like a she shed. I want that. A good tax write-off next year, maybe. But I have what I have, and I make it work for me. So don't compare. That's first of all, because there's apples and oranges. You're not comparing apples to apples, and you don't know. Also, just do something. Like sometimes you don't know where to start. Just start where you are. So sometimes I get overwhelmed and I just say, there's so much to do. Do something. Take pictures, list, organize your stuff or set up your stuff. I play my games, bingo and my little games, and I set those up so that I always have a game ready. There's always something you can do. Maybe you're not in the mood for paperwork, so take pictures. Maybe you're not in the mood to source, so inventory the stuff you have, list the stuff you have. Do something, because you're never going to regret action. Action's going to relieve your stress. You're sitting around. If you're trying to make money, another thing I say is, yes, to learn how to do Poshmark shows, but don't stay on Poshmark shows all day, because you're going to buy, because we're shoppers. So if you're trying to make money, balance it out where you're not spending more than you're selling. So watch your inventory and make sure you know that what you're buying is going to make sense for you. And I take your advice of making sure it can be 3 times. It's always at least 2 times. I like it to make at least 2 times. Sometimes I can't pass up a deal, even if it's going to break me even, because I like to pass that deal on to my I don't say customers. What do you, followers, shoppers? What do I call them? Friends, posh besties. I like to pass on the deal. Sometimes I know I'm not going to make money, but I'm like, oh, so-and-so would love this. And it's just a break even thing,
Yeah.
But for the most part, when I'm sourcing, I want to make it make sense. Posh takes 20%. So I want to make sure I can at least make, a couple bucks, off of something.
Of course.
And then don't get too like ahead of yourself with anything. Just be yourself. People are going to like you. You're not going to be for everyone. I'm not for everyone, and that's perfectly okay. The people who are going to relate with you, and they're going to be your tribe, and they're going to be there, and they're going to keep showing up. You have to trust the process. Just think of it like how you feel about your favorite postures, or like your favorite. You go and you're like, oh, Robyn's on, right? Lynn's on, yay! We love to see each other. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I caught them. You're going to have people that do that with you too. It's just they didn't start that way. People didn't know me for the first, people still don't. I meet new people all the time. They're new to my show. And I always say, like, are you new to my show? If you've been here, thanks for coming back. If you're new, thanks for coming, So I appreciate my regulars, because retention, I think, is important in any business. You work very hard to get that customer. You better keep them.
Yeah.
You better keep them, right?
Yeah.
So I like to keep who I have, but I also need to keep adding, because it is a business. So it's fun. And it's perfect because I always wanted to be an entertainer. Okay. Not quite talented enough to be a singer, but I can carry a tune. So I can sing sometimes, I can entertain, I can be social. You get to do all the things that you love to do and get paid doing it. There's that little joke, I think it was KB, she's a seller too. And it was like a little meme, and it was like, I wish I could go back and tell my 7th grade teacher I do indeed get paid to talk. Because they were like, stop talking in class. You're not going to get paid to talk. I do. I get paid to talk all day. So just be yourself. And that's hard to do. Like, even in a setting like this, it's like you're in an interview, like you're being yourself, but it's a little awkward at first, but you'll ease into it. And I don't know. Am I giving good advice?
Robyn, I look, everything you just said, I think totally resonates to someone that's just brand new, especially like what you just said, and I'll wrap it up real quick right now, but especially what you said about not comparing yourself to other people. You just cannot do that. I mean, everyone has their own situations, own goals, own inventory costs, own situations. For you to say all those things, I think those are really, really, really important. But I want to thank you, Robyn. I mean, you're an amazing part of this community. Things are only going to be up from here. All the experiences you've gone through, everything that you've gone through with us is the product of what you're showing on camera now. So thank you so much for coming on with me and talking with me. We're gonna put this out there, and I hope you keep going and keep going at your journey, not someone else's journey. So,
do you remember my first show? How much do you think I've grown?
I, there's a lot of shows, but I do remember some of our earlier open talk interviews that we used to do on Fridays. That's probably what I remember the most, is more so like when we used to talk on open talk on every Friday and asking you questions about your experience and your advice to other people. Those are the ones I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't remember my first show? Good. It was a disaster. No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad.
I don't think any show can be a disaster.
No.
Yeah.
It was, what it was? I was so excited, and I had never had a show at that scale, at that level. I had never, ever had a show with that many people looking at me at once. And I think that now I don't pay attention to the number. If there's 2 people or 500 people, I'm still going to, be my authentic self.
Yeah.
But it was a lot to prepare for, because I didn't know what to expect. After that first one, and I knew what to expect, and I knew how to prepare for it, because I tell you what, it's just like taking a test. When you know you've studied, you're not nervous going into the test. You got this. You're going to get an A. You've done your best. You've prepared. You're ready. The people who are nervous to take the test, they didn't crack a book. They haven't studied. So they're nervous. But if you're prepared, I mean, that's all you can do is stay prepared and be prepared. You've done your homework. You've done your work. You're going to perform, and just start now, because you can look back. It's just like with exercise. Think about how ripped your abs could be right now if you had started doing those crunches a year ago, right? If you start doing what you think you're wanting to do, look back. I can look back a year and go, oh my God, how far I've come with what I've done now, staying consistent with how we're doing it now. Oh my goodness, Lynn. I was always a big dreamer, but now I see, like, okay, wait a minute. I can really make a lot of money doing this. It's not just a hobby. If you want it to be a hobby, that's great, but it actually could be like the most rewarding and also financially rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. I've sold everything. That's all. Everything I've sold in my life trained me to do this, because I have a background in psychology and communication, and I've sold, I mean, you name it. I sold diamonds. I was GIA certified to sell diamonds. I sold mattresses. I sold car warranties. I did surveys. I've sold Mary Kay. I sold home interior. I sold everything. I worked for Stop NBC. I sold Invicta watches. I learned how to sell. So it was like all preparing me to sell for myself.
Well, here we are.
Here we are. Now here we are. Robyn Lynn, 78. Robyn's Nest.
Well, we're out of time. I appreciate it, Robyn, and thank you for all you do. And I keep hoping the best for you in your journey. Okay.
Thank you. I always want more time. It's never enough.
I know. Take care. Bye.